that the gliders are being floating.
I suspect very, very little. Yeah. Yeah, no, you're absolutely right there. And apparently already there's another gentleman who wants to fly his aeroplane from somewhere in Fife to North Berwick and back. And because there are now routes going across, he's not going to do it. He's very, very angry because he can't do it anymore. But again, you said, how do you come to decisions that benefit the community in general? Yes, sir.
With the old system, I can understand why the planes go on fixed routes between beacons, but with the new system, surely they're much more flexible.
Yes.
So why do they have to have such?
Because once they get above 7,000 feet, where these purple lines stop,
Yeah.
I was actually talking to a gentleman from NATS yesterday. I was at one of the drop-in sessions over in Fife at Dunfermline, and he was saying their plan, their eventual aim, is once a plane gets up above 7,000 feet, it can pretty much be directed straight to wherever it's going. Whereas just now it would have to go to this beacon, that beacon, that beacon, that beacon. Now they come up there and they're just told fly 273 degrees and you'll get to Bristol or wherever it is they're going. And that's what they're working towards. It's called free space.
But I'm thinking of the under 7,000 feet.
Under 7,000 feet, it has to be controlled because they're far more concentrated because they're getting near to an airport. So there's lots more things flying around and getting closer and closer and closer to each other. And that's why they need to have them controlled. And the beauty of this sort of system is that it can be, I've heard two different phrases. One is systematized, which means that basically when the plane gets to the hold area, the air traffic controller just says, right, okay, now join the oh, never mind, I can't find the right one. But they were, this is one, yeah. They're at the hold there, and the air traffic controller says, join that path. And that's one of the stages they have to come up with, once the consultation's over. Because then the pilot just sets his computer, and the computer will take him down that route, because that route is built in.
So in the old system they had a funnel from 7,000.
Yeah.
Why can't they make an electronic program that generates points for them, say, okay, this pilot gets the next one, so they just circulate those entry points over my area?
Interestingly, I was just discussing that point with Simon, the guy from Newcastle, yesterday, and it sounds very straightforward. Why not have, instead of having one, why not have one like that, and one like that, and one like that? But then you've got to decide, well, when do you use one and when do you use the other? Is it every Friday you do one and every Monday you do a different one?
No, you can do an electronic system that over the day express.
Well, put that in your submission. I can't answer that one, but when we were talking about it, he said, well, there was a danger of complication of which one you were using and how you would do it, because obviously if you do get it wrong, it's not exactly the best for the poor people in the airplanes.
Is there an implication for places where they can fly lower lighthouses and have a higher concentration of flights? Is it going to perhaps affect insurance for buildings and things like that? Because things fall off planes.
Yes. Again, I wouldn't know. I mean, the only thing I know as affecting houses is if you live much closer to the airport, you can get sound insulation. The airport will pay for sound insulation for your house, but that's like for the folk in Cramond or Newbridge or Rathall or something like that. Because whatever we suffer here, you just have to go and stand in Cramond when the planes are coming in.
We lived in Cramond.
You lived in Cramond, so you know all about it.
We actually built a house here to get out of the flight path. Ironically.
Do you know about the Cramond pause? The Cramond pause is when two people are having a conversation.
Oh, yeah.
And they see a plane coming, so they just stand and stop, wait for the plane to go up, then they carry on. Because they know that if they try carrying on while the plane's there,
I have to say that when we lived there, depending on the wind, they would take off from a different runway. So they didn't always, on the wind, they would maybe take off from a different runway.
that must have been when they
changed.
when they had two runways. because the old runway built what I used to call Turnhouse.
Oh, yeah, no, it wouldn't turn out,
But
yeah.
then they built the new runway, and there is just the one runway.
But they would either go one way
Yeah,
or
and
the
that
other way,
depends on
yeah.
and that depends on the wind.
Yeah.
And if it's coming from the west, it's runway 24. If it's coming from the east, it's runway 6. And obviously, there'll be times during the day when the wind may change, so they have to switch it all around. And that's another very complicated thing. If you've got all your planes flying in such a way they're expecting to land like that, and you want them to land like that, you've got to then redirect them again without them banging into each other. No, that's the thing. What they are doing for Crammon this time, and again, newer technology in airplanes makes this possible. As soon as the wheels are off the ground, if it's heading northeast on runway 06, just now they do an 11-degree turn to the left. I mean, it used to go just straight ahead. They've introduced an 11-degree turn. I think in the new one it's going to be 23 degrees, so they avoid Crammon as much as possible. Except apparently it's now annoying the people in Camel or somewhere else. You can't come in.
Probably worth mentioning the drop-ins.
You presumably have been roped in to talk to other community councils.
Yep.
Can I ask what sort of approach are they taking to this? Are they reaching some sort of conclusion as to
The conclusion is up for you as a community council or as an individual to put in a submission.
10 minutes.
Whether the federation will want to put in a joint submission, I suspect probably not, because the reaction I think is going to be different. The ones who've asked me to come and speak to them have been the ones who obviously consider they're going to be more seriously affected. I mean, obviously the Bonnyrigg and sort of nothing there, they've not asked me to. Because for most people, I think it is going to be an improvement, but for yourselves, Morfoot and to a certain extent Gorebridge, there may be issues there. I'm not sure it's necessarily as bad as you fear. Sorry, Matt.
I maybe missed it, but you've talked about arriving onto 24,
Yep.
departing from 24, arriving on 6. Does that affect the last?
No, that actually, at the beginning, that one doesn't really affect us. Right, that's arrivals on 6 there. From the hold down at Peebles, they then fly across, as it were, sort of round the back of the Pentlands and come in there. So they don't come anywhere near us at all. No, the only two that affect us are the departures on 06 and arrivals on 24.
Have any studies been done on noise, not just noise pollution, but air pollution?
It's bound in with it, yes, because the air navigation guidance does talk about pollution, and that's why, as I say, that they wouldn't sort of do a big detour around just to avoid just one town, because that would be creating far too much carbon emissions, so they would go straight over. Below 4,000 feet, however, no, noise is paramount. It's to reduce noise. Between 4,000 and 7,000, it's to noise if possible, but not at the expense of unnecessary carbon emissions. Above 7,000, it's carbon emissions. Is trying to reduce them is a priority.
Well, there's carbon emissions from the atmosphere, but there's also pollution for human health.
Yes.
Does it see?
Yep.
When I looked at this, it just dismisses it. It says below 1,000 feet, it isn't an issue.
It doesn't have to come.
Above 1,000 feet, isn't it?
Yeah. I need to read up exactly what the air navigation guidance says about that, but it is something that on the noise board we are looking at quite seriously, because there are more and more studies now, and the CAA have produced them and the WHO have produced them, and saying that yes, there is an effect on people's health being underneath the flight path, particularly at night if your sleep's affected by it. Whether this far away we would come under that or not, I think it's more the ones who, I don't know, has anyone here been woken up by a plane?
Oh, yes.
Right. Well that could,
Radio.
yeah. Because the other thing also the air navigation guidance does say, and this will obviously affect you, they have to take counter the height difference in the ground,
Yes.
because, you know, what height are you here? 300. Okay, so you know that's on the way up. So it makes a difference as to how high the plane is above the ground as opposed to above sea level.
Yeah, can I just clarify with somebody saying we're at 300 here, that's meters.
Right. Okay.
Are all these figures in feet,
Yeah.
Yes.
or are they working in meters?
No, these are all
That's
feet.
critical that we're on the same.
Yep. Yeah, it is absolutely.
Set of
Yeah.
SI
No, they will all be. I mean, that is something that whatever it is, but it is feet because they talk about 4,000 feet, 7,000 feet. The CAA would not allow them to mix up.
I've heard two key things, Andrew.
Yep.
Sorry, three. There's going to be more planes over this area. They will be higher.
Yep.
And the other thing is, because of the change in the glide paths and things, there won't be such variation in noise.
Yep.
So all of that to me is actually quite positive. The third thing is, or the fourth thing, planes generally are getting a lot quieter.
Yes.
They have to be.
Yep. Yep.
So I'm sitting here saying, should I just be shrugging my shoulders and saying, let it happen?
I can't answer that question for you. Can I just show you here? This is, you probably can't see it, but anyway, they do things called noise contours, and this is for the actual airport. The heart of that bit there, that's the actual runway, and all these lines drawn in circles or sort of elongated things, that's each level of noise going down. The further you get away, the less noise it is. Mostly Midlothian doesn't come under any of the noise contours that are being drawn, because, and I've actually encountered it on the noise board. You know, some of the representatives from Rathline said, "Oh, you don't know what it's like. You just don't have any noise at all." I said, "Well, yes, you do." And a bit like yourselves, you've moved from Cramond. I know someone. She was on the Dalkeith Community Council of Wales. She used to live in Broxburn, and that I thought gets lots and lots of noise. She moved to Dalkeith and she said, "Oh my goodness, you've got a noise from the aeroplanes." So that was the, but no, we don't. But there are things like the health issues, but that's still at the stage of people discovering stuff.
I think now, Gordon was saying about the noise factor, and aircraft are getting quieter. And I think pollution-wise as well, they're getting cleaner. There's certainly a drive for that. So.
Yes, sorry, I don't remember. That's why I was showing you the noise contours. if that was the airport, then so originally the contours were sort of like that. Now they're much closer together because the engines are so much quieter. Unfortunately, that doesn't help nighttime much, because that's when a lot of the cargo flights come in, because you all want to get your Amazon parcels 24 hours later, so they fly them up overnight, and the cargo planes are old passenger planes. They've got old engines, they've got noisy engines, and they're the ones that land at night.
So is